Hello everyone and welcome back to the For the Love of Commander podcast. My name is Everett Alex and today I'm joined by one of the faces of our local LGS, our L1 judge and dirty slower player, Sam.
Hello.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, more than welcome. Thanks for having me.
So today we are attacking the trendiest new format to hit up your local game shops, Brawl. And we're going to try and answer the question that's been floating around every message board since it's been announced, namely, is Brawl doomed to die the way the Tiny Leaders and Frontier did? We'll see, maybe, probably. In this, however long this is going to be, we'll try and answer that very, very hard question with two guys who've never even been to California. So, quick backstory. Brawl is the latest officially endorsed format brought out by Wizards of the Coast, those chaps that make magic over the pond. The official announcement, which will be linked in the description below, is said to have been brought to R&D's attention by one Garrett Turner.
Mr. Turner.
G. Turner, a senior brand narrative designer over at Wizards of the Coast. It was a format he'd made as an easy-to-get-into way of playing casually with his team, which he then brought to R&D's attention, which they then tested and even did a company-wide playtest for.
That's quite cool. I must say, I do enjoy how Wizards R&D actually works. Like, I know for their draft formats, they just go to different parts and just ask them to draft, which is really cool.
Imagine that being playing Magic at work.
Yeah, who'd believe it, right? Who'd think?
So after tweaking it, which, whatever that means, Wizards announced Brawl as coming to everyone everywhere as an officially endorsed format, which seems good.
It's a good start. It's like, I always like it when they try something new. It might not always work, but this one is officially endorsed.
And they're trying something new. They're not just keeping it the same.
Yeah, definitely. The game is 25 years old. This year's the 25th anniversary. I think it's already passed.
It's older than we are.
It's older than we are, yeah. So the game's been going on longer for 5 years, and I've been around. So the fact that they're trying something new is always a breath of fresh air. So I do like it.
So Brawl essentially is Commander Light, is my way of thinking of it.
Yeah, it's a good way of thinking about it.
So I'm going to turn over to our L1 judge to tell us what actually is this format.
Okay, so there are a lot of similarities between Brawl and Commander, and people are saying it's like the standard version of Commander. So just to go through the rules, like pretty bullet pointy, pretty quickly. So we're going to start with, it's a 60 card format. So this is a singleton format, so same as Commander. It's only one of each card, other than basic lands. However, this standard must be standard legal. You have a general, which acts as your 60th card. So you have the 59 card deck, which is singleton, and then your commander. So it shares the same ban list as it shares with standard. So there are no Attunement of Ethers here, sadly, and there is the same color identity rule that there is with commander. So for example, Joe the Archmage Eternal, even though he's Jeskai and the generic to cast, he is a 5-color Brawl commander. We start this format on 30 life, no 40 lives here, and then in multiplayer games, your first mulligan is free, and you draw on each of your turns. Same pretty much for Commander, and then there is a general tax once again, so 2 generic for every time you cast it. But in this instance, in this format, there is no actual Commander damage.
Which is primarily because you can use Planeswalkers as your commander.
You were not excluded to legendary creatures. You were able to use any legendary Planeswalker or any legendary creature as your general. There's no commanders here, just generals.
Yeah, I'm not going to get that in Commander, are we?
No, I really wish I could, because
I want Dak Vaden as my commander.
Dak Vaden is like amazing. If I could play any, I just go full on Lily of the Veil and have a terrible deck.
Ooh,
but it'd be a very good commander. Terrible deck, good commander.
If anyone wants to see us do that on an episode of our gameplay videos, let us know, because we might actually test that, see how broken we can make that.
I know a lot of people have tried or have even a rule amongst themselves where you can use Planeswalkers.
I imagine ending badly.
Planeswalkers are always a bit awkward, aren't they? Because they just don't die to the same removal.
Exactly, yeah.
I'd like to try it, but they have not released a Sliver Planeswalker yet, so I will not be trying it.
Bad man.
Sorry.
Right, back onto Brawl. We'll go with the sweet before the sour, and we'll go with the things that we really like about the format. So, I'll go first. The thing that I really like about it, I think this is something you like in your deck building aspect, is the fact that you find rares that are so janky that even certain commanders just will not touch them with a 10-foot pole. So the joke of good for commander doesn't even apply here.
No,
But good for Brawl is actually pretty good. You do get to play cards that you otherwise wouldn't touch. Like, I'm not touching Cancel with a 10-foot pole in any blue deck. That is not Counterspell.
It's not.
It's in my Teferi deck, though.
So yeah, me and Alex before this we did a bit of testing just so we actually knew what we were on about, which is a change for me. But I played Liliana Death's Majesty. Liliana's my favourite character. Black's my favourite colour.
Such a great commander.
And I felt like no, it's such a good general.
Oh.
And I felt like I do this thing where I get every mono black card because it's my favourite, cram it into my deck. And the card I found to impress me the most in actual testing was the Cabal Stronghold.
Oh, literally, I can't see Cabal Stronghold making that big of a splash in Commander.
Probably not.
Even in mono black decks, you don't run basics that much.
Yeah, so you got the Cabal Cost Nerval,
exactly,
which doesn't work with
Stronghold.
With Stronghold because it has to be a basics one. Stronghold is probably not a good card. I enjoy it as a card, and I'd probably put it in my Commander deck.
But in Brawl, my god, did that do work.
Oh, Torment of Hailfire You for $1 million was pretty good. I still lost that game because Approach of the Second Sun is an unfair card. But poaching, Torment of Hailfire for $1 million is always a good feeling.
It was very good, but you're not going to do that in Standard.
I'm not, because I'd be dead by turn 4 to a Hazard. So.
Exactly. So having jank rares, such as the Stronghold, be able to play Cancel and still feel good, is still pretty good. So that's one of the things I really like about it.
Like the accessibility of the format can't be denied. Like,
oh god. No.
So you can every boost you open, right? Let's just say you take out the rare and you literally want to build your raw deck from commons and uncommons. That's possible. You like with Dominaria being such a good set.
Uncommons are so powerful.
Like all the uncommon legendaries, you can do uncommon only or common only, and you'd still have a good deck. It's the accessibility. There doesn't have to be a price tag on your Brawl deck.
Exactly. That's what the inventor of it wanted to be. It wanted to be an easy to get into format, which it definitely is.
And it definitely is. Yeah, I fully agree with that. It's very cute. Then you do the numbers on some of the most expensive Brawl commanders or something.
Yes. So. Looking right now at time of recording, which we'll link to below, which is subject to change, the decks are ridiculously cheap comparative to Standard. I'm not going to compare it to Commander, because a Commander deck is as expensive as long as a piece of string is. But when you look at the meta breakdown on MTG Goldfish's website, the meta game of Brawl decks, and compare that to the SCG Open in Atlanta, for the top Standard decks, top 8, there's only one deck that was less than $300, which was Mono Red.
Yeah, I guess it'd be Mono Red.
Yeah, it's Mono Red.
Those mountains are cheap.
Well cheap. So the rest of them are both $300. So it's fair to say that right now, in Standard, with Dominaria, Standard costs about $300 for a top-tier tournament-winning deck.
Yeah, definitely. And especially considering Dominaria is brand new. We're seeing spikes across the board. So
everyone loves a $40 Teferi.
$40 Teferi. I think Lyra Dawnbringer is like $30 something, maybe. Baneslayer Angel is always good. So, Standard is subject to spikes.
The terrible thing is that by the time this comes out, that'll all completely drop.
You think?
Probably.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
yeah.
But as we're saying, at the time of recording, Standard top-tier decks, $300 price tag. And also according to the MTG Goldfish's metagame breakdown, you can get the top 2 most popular Brawl decks, which is Nico Brawlers and Muldrotha the Grave
Good choices.
They're very, very good decks. You can get them both for that price. You get 2 decks for literally the price of one in another format. And even better, exclude the top 2 decks, you can get the next 6 most popular decks all for less than $300 together with change. You can get 6 decks, or you can play for 1 Standard deck. That's very cheap.
Yes, it is very cheap. And then the good thing about the Brawl, we can look at Standard decks and we can look at tier levels. So, for example, there's always going to be, like Wide Root Approach in Standard while Approach is in the Standard. The good thing about, let's just say you said Nicol Bolas is the top one. Your Nicol Bolas deck and my Nicol Bolas deck might be 2 very different things. So popular general, and it might be the most popular general, but that might come across as 2 completely different decks.
Yeah.
Which is not only cheap, it's also diverse.
Exactly.
Which is what we want in our formats, right?
Well, you want to play a blue-white deck, you play Teferi, or you play Wrath, or you play some token strategy.
Or you do what Alex did and play all of them, mixed with Approach to the Second Sun. I'm not salty at all, don't worry about it.
Just slightly.
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 Yeah.
Well, another good thing with low bar format is the fact that it is what it set out to be. It is a great casual format, and it is great for teaching people how to play the game. Just showing one card at a time, showing how to interact with different cards, and getting to grips with the basics without being overwhelmed by 2 Hazarets and then a Chandra right in your face.
Yeah, like even if we look at standard right now, the removal, so premium removal of Raska's Contempt, right? I'm pretty sure it's like a $20 card.
Seriously?
Yes, Raska's Contempt is like $20.
Jesus.
So if we, if I had somebody new come down to my event, they've either picked up a challenger deck or they picked up an intro deck. These decks, like especially the intro decks, are Planeswalker decks. They're built to be mid-range strategies, obviously, so when you play with them, you understand more of the cards. Now, if you play, let's just say you pick up your new Chandra Planeswalker deck and you sit down at FNM and you lose instantly to Mono Red, you haven't seen much of your deck, you haven't even seen much of your opponents, because obviously your opponents is using 4 of, so you haven't even seen a variety of cards. The game's been over in 10 minutes, you've lost, and now you move on to round 2. Whereas with Brawl, teaching as a format, the games, as we noticed, went on for quite a while. Yeah. Like we played 1-on-1, so you can play this multiplayer as well. But playing it on 1-on-1, the games were not over in 10, 15 minutes. Like it was really good. And in that, you would see so much more. You would understand so many more interactions once you have a longer game of Magic.
I didn't even. What was that bloody curse?
So Cruel Reality.
I didn't even know that was a card.
5 double black, and you enchant. It's a curse. You enchant a player. At the beginning of the upkeep, it forces them to sacrifice a creature or a planeswalker, or they lose 5 life. Now, I haven't seen that card since I lost to it at Amonkhet pre-release, and trust me, I don't want to see it again. It's a very good card when it's played properly.
But that's something that you wouldn't play in. You would definitely not get to play that in standard. Not in a million years.
What, a 7-mana junky mythic?
Yeah. And beyond some really weird sacrificing mono black deck, I can't see that being played in the EDH that much.
Maybe a black-white enchantment deck would want it, but
even then, it's 7 mana to do one thing to a player. That's Avenger of Zendikar mana.
Yeah, to like one person in a multiplayer game, you are saying, yes, I don't like you.
Yeah.
Let's continue playing.
Not very good. But
obviously,
in Brawl, super legit.
Yeah, and obviously with enchantment being, one of the most easy things to remove in Commander. Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
Everyone's running that one on Rex Sage. Something else we like about this format is the fact that we have such a limited card pool just being in standard. It not only gets to highlight cards that we just talked about, but I feel it also keeps the power level pretty consistent.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. So, if you look at the standard meta game, you have mono red. So if you wanted to, you could build a mono red Brawl deck. Let's just say, for example, we pick Hazaret.
Yeah.
Hazaret's your general. You can now not put in 4 Bomat Courier. You can put in 1 Bomat Courier, right?
It seems significantly less good on
it's
turn 10.
Yeah, so the power level's fair because I think it takes away the consistency. So you do not you have 1 Bomat Courier, you either have to use it better. You start using draft commons and uncommons that you haven't seen since pre-release or draft. And this keeps it fair. It just takes away the every turn Bomat Courier or the repeater language, right?
Exactly. It takes away consistency of standard, but at the same time it doesn't have Mystical Tutor, doesn't have Vampiric Tutor, doesn't have, what are the 1-drop shooters? Mystical Tutor, no.
Worldly Tutor,
Enlightened Tutor, doesn't have any of those. It's not 1-drop, I'm going to search up the best card in my entire library in my own upkeep. You don't have that.
No, there's not, a lot of people do the tutor debate in EDH, right?
Exactly.
And whether you agree with it or disagree with it, it doesn't exist in Brawl, so you can't have this argument about it. It isn't there.
Yeah.
You can draw cards all you like, but to tutor cards outside of, I think black is 2 tutors.
Yeah, there's probably more that are uncommon that are really expensive.
When I built my deck, I could find Final Parting, which I only included because of flavor, because it's a very cool card.
It's a really good card.
Silly card, and then there's Diabolic Tutor as well, but I just didn't put that in my deck.
You don't like that level of consistency in your Brawl deck?
I tried to build my deck with the concept of the spirit of the format, and the spirit of the format is this casual, play what you want, play these really cool rares that just don't quite make any standard.
Not I'm going to Diabolic Tutor for my Gonti.
I wish I could have, because you really did beat me, and Gonti was the only effective card I played against you.
I love Gonti. Well, I'll build a Brawl deck with Gauntlet Regen. That's pretty legit. That's nice, right?
Like, you've got Panamonicon, right?
We're getting off topic again. So, good singleton format to keep it inconsistent but still fun. Power levels are balanced. It's cheap. It's a great teaching tool. Really cheap. I'm just saying it's cheap over and over again because it's so cheap.
Well, when we look at this game, right, we can build decks over time, or we can build decks very quickly. Especially with Commander. I'm not going to say how much my Commander deck costs, because I've been building that thing for about 3 years. So every spare 10 quid I've chucked into it. So now
your deck costs more than like the actual outputtings of most countries.
If you want to put it like that, fair enough. But it's an expensive deck. But because of it being so expensive, I have one Commander deck. Which sometimes I find a bit sad that I don't get variety. But in Brawl, like, I could build, 15 Brawl decks, maybe?
Yeah, quite easily. If you do that very good thing, which we do, which we order the set of commons and uncommons, that's very easy to just snap your fingers and have a Brawl deck.
Yeah, once again, especially with Dominaria having uncommon legendaries and being such a good set, it's very easy.
Oh, some of the uncommons and generals are ridiculously powerful. So, any more positives?
For Brawl, positives.
No, we're just going to start getting the cane out.
I think, honestly, the format was created to be cheap, to be accessible in the fact that new players can play it. Obviously, being cheap makes it more accessible, but taking the secondary market out of it, it's going to be accessible. It's going to be able to be played on a kitchen table and at your game store, so it's casual as well. And if it was created with this in mind, which, as Wizard said it was, then I think it's come out better than I anticipated. When I first heard of it, I wasn't too excited. I play Modern, I play Legacy, I play Command. I'm not interested in Brawl. And then, we tested for the sake so we know what we're talking about. And I'm going to be honest, I had fun.
Very fun.
And if we can both sit there and say we had fun, we didn't spend a lot of money on it, and we were able to have a laugh, then surely the format, in a sense, is a success.
I think it is. I think it's really good. They've done what they wanted to do, and I'm happy.
Yeah, once again, R&D have actually done a good job.
Yeah, good job, R&D. Pat yourself in the back from us.
Yeah, I'm sure we have such an impact on R&D. Such amazing impact, yeah.
Right, that's a carrot. Been gnawed thoroughly in the bin.
We're taking the cane out.
Right, whacking the cane out. My big problem, and it was the big problem that I had with format like Frontier, the card pool is so small that there is nothing that just straight answers certain decks.
Yeah, like, I was playing, as I said, mono black. Alex was playing blue-white. I don't think I won a game.
No.
They were fun, interactive games.
They went on for a very long time. They were really good.
Very fun, very interactive games, but there was certain stuff, like, I was staring at my sweeper removal, and then looking at this approach with the second summon stack going, oh yeah, that's in standard, isn't it? And I think I can use that to lead on to the next, like, the biggest issue I have with it. It's, as Alex said, it's a very small card pool. Because of a small card pool, you see those cards and you go, oh wait, yeah, it's approaching the second side. Not fun. At least in Commander, you can kill me in a million different ways.
Yeah, exactly. The point I was trying to make is more the fact, like, if you have Scarab God as your commander, your general,
yes,
I'm not entirely sure how, as a control player, I would beat that. Because if that hits, that's immediate, irreparable damage and value. Because if you get 2 triggers off Scarab God, that's a lot of resources, especially if we have a Gaunty and a Champion of Wits that are getting involved with Scarab God's ability.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure how I win that game as a control player. But in stuff like Modern and Commander, the card pool is so deep, there are just silver bullet cards that do just wreck other decks that can otherwise just not be beaten.
Yeah, like when I used to play Mono Black in Commander, one of my favourite cards was the Scarab from Existence, which is just a random common from Battle Presenter card.
Yeah.
And it's 7 mana, exile target permanent.
Black can't deal with a lot of things that aren't creatures.
Pretty much. And I was just sat there looking at these, they're not exactly scary cards you were casting. Maybe Approach was, but usually not scary. And it's sort of come across that you were trying to approach me, I was trying to Torment of Hailfire you, and then it just come across as this, like, sort of two ships passing in the night.
Yeah.
I can say we had interactive games, but
eventually you have to win the game.
Eventually you have to win the game, and it was just, I want to say they were very interactive. We sort of looked at each other every now and then, They were definitely they were interactive. Your creatures died to my removal. My spells got countered by your counter spells. But in a game of Commander where you've got so many options, it's very hard for you to go, oh, it's this again. You got your big ones like Create a Hoof Behemoth is a big one for green, right?
If you're in green and you run all small things, I'm going to very flatly assume you're running Create a Hoof Behemoth and try and prepare for that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are ways to stop that. You can, even thinking of standard, you can just sell the wreckage at someone if they're playing mono green and decide to go Create a Hoof.
Yeah.
But there are certain cards in standard that you just can't, certain decks can't answer. As you say, we had fun interactive games, but in certain decks, you just can't answer control because it is so slow and control favors that so heavily. I think that's why Nicol Bolas is. I think that's why Nicol Bolas and Muldrotha are the two most popular, because Nicol Bolas is a great control commander because he himself is a win condition, Grixis is a great call for win condition, and Muldrotha is the antithesis of control. It's recursion, and it can't answer that as a lot.
Yeah, so one very interesting thing is when we look at the top two Brawl commanders, they're both 3 colours. I believe if you look in EDH Rec and you look at the most popular commander combination ever, I think it's mono black at the top. Or it's something similar. The mono-coloured are up there, right? They're in the top 5, I think. At least one of them is in the top 5. I might be completely wrong in that.
Oh yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw a top 8 list that didn't include mono red and dual commander.
Yeah, so your mono-coloured decks have answers in Commander because your card pool is absolutely massive.
I think it's only ever top 5 vintage, or is it legacy?
Well, Vintage and Legacy both share the same card pool, just one has a ban list and one has a restricted list.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you look at those two formats and you look at Commander, the card pools are massive. Yeah. Especially with Commander, it's what makes it so great. That you play my mono black deck is so, it just uses completely different cards to your Sultai deck, even though we're sharing the same colours.
Yeah.
And if you look at the top Raw commanders, both being tri-colour generals, then this sort of suggests that the format needs to feed on more than 3 colours to be top tier.
Yeah.
But then when we're discussing that and we're discussing top tiers in a casual format, then there's your issue, right?
Yeah, exactly. It breaks down very quickly when it's nice to have a casual format, but you can then break it again. Which
very easily.
It gets into some of the issues that people have with Commander, whereby it's trying to get the right style, the right level of decks within your playgroup, and if that's the type of conversation you're having to have within this casual format, then it's kind of broken down. It isn't a casual format anymore, is it? Yeah. You're having to have those discussions.
I remember getting told when I first started playing Commander that's a casual format, and I fully disagree with that, and I fully agree with that. There are some very, very powerful Commander decks, but this can sort of be over it. I'm going to be honest, I've lost to intro decks, playing
Mega Markov.
Yeah, so I've lost to precon decks.
Yeah, precons.
And that's because it's such a big format, it's such a multiplayer format, it just works, right? It's so much politics. Exactly. Now, we only tested Brawl 1-on-1, but I couldn't imagine there being so many answers at the table with 2 more players.
No, I think the fact that the top does represent control so very well, and the only other deck up there is the antithesis with recursion, that tells me that control is just the strongest way to go about it, because honestly, you do just get to run the few board wipes in standard, and there is not a lot of answers in other colours to that.
No, pretty much. One of the things that keeps Commander so casual in a crazy sense is its power level. The fact that if you start to combo off, the 3 people you're sitting with will probably figure this out and try to hit you quickly and hard.
Yes.
Now, this is possible because of the power level, whereas in Brawl, that power level is you're not lacking.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to deal 30 damage to someone within the next turn. In Commander, I can deal 30 damage to someone.
Yeah, pretty quickly.
Yeah. Especially if all 3 people just go, I'm not going to do anything to you, I'm not going to do anything to you, and just swings just happen.
Yeah, maybe this could happen in Brawl at a push, maybe.
If there was a huge board stall, but even then.
The reason why Brawl is a 60-card deck, as in a 60-card construction rule, because there isn't that much to put in your deck.
Yeah. You would have to really start scraping the wood off the bottom of the barrel.
I'm pretty confident saying that if you had to, I don't know, let's say for example there's 4 people at a Brawl game, and one of those players casts Approach of the Second Sun and has an New Rivulet in play, which would mill them for 5, and then they have the as Cancer Sunken Ruin in play. So they can basically hit Approach of the Second Sun again next turn, let's just say, for example. Now, we would, as a group, would have to hit really hard and almost like limit our resources for the rest of the game just to kill this one person.
Especially if they're in white, they're running Approach, they're probably running the board whites as well. I don't think you would go Approach if you've got no creatures and the rest of them can kill you straight away. You would do that after a Fumigate. So you know, oh, they've only been able to replay one creature. I'll cast my Approach now.
Yeah, this might be us being like a little harsh.
Yeah,
but
it does seem
the limited card pool backs the format into a corner, and the fact that the format's not been out so long, and there's already 2 top tier, like Brawlmanders.
I like that word, Brawlmanders.
Brawlmanders. We're going to refer to them as Brawlmanders.
Brawlmanders.
So there are Brawlmanders, Nicol Bolas, and Mordrofa. They're the best already, right? So testing done,
chunks.
format solved. Yeah, it's like the format solved. Can you really solve Commander?
No, every time I look at different duel lists, they're never really the same. There's always like a Thrasios and Tymnus somewhere in there. There's always a Zergos somewhere in there.
There's always one of it.
Exactly, there's always different ones. There's always new ones, and it always comes out differently. It changes when it rotates, which brings us to our next problem. The fact that this is a rotating format.
Yeah.
Why on earth would I play Commander that rotates? Why would I not just instead play Commander?
It's a very hard question to answer. It rotates. It sort of puts a nail in the coffin already, right? And
I think it's great for me, personally, because I'm a person that loves to play Commander. And I imagine that come rotation, there'll be a lot of people who have made Brawl decks, who've had really good times and fun with them, and then all of a sudden, Approach rotates, or their Commander rotates. Sorry, their Brawlmander. The Brawlmander rotates, and their deck just doesn't work anymore. There might be some cards to replace it, but put it this way, Hepatra is one of the top 8 most played commanders. Once Amonkhet and Hour of Devastation rotates out, that deck does not exist anymore.
In defense of the format, can't you say, let's say if I have a I fully agree with you, by the way, but if I have just for the sake of arguing, if I have a Hepatra deck, and it's a pretty good Hepatra deck, and Amonkhet leaves standard, I lose Hepatra, I lose my Brawlmander, don't I then have an easy gateway into Commander?
Exactly, but that's the thing I was going to say.
Just play Commander,
exactly.
Right?
I love about it. I'm imagining that once these sets do rotate out, then all these people will have these Brawlmanders, these decks, and all of a sudden go, well, you know what, I had a lot of fun with these decks.
Yeah.
What do you mean I can just add 40 really old, powerful cards and continue to play this deck? That sounds amazing, and you're right, it is. It's called Commander.
So, the rotation ring as well, not only does it make decks' lives limited, we also add into the issue of the pain of the format. So, if we look at a couple of formats ago, when we were looking at Battle for Zendikar being in standard for so long, the menace that was Gideon Allied Zendikar.
Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah, we have flashbacks to that. I was one of those guys, but we have flashbacks to that. So, let's just say we have, I don't know, a guy who plays my deck, Liliana Death's Majesty. It was fun. Was it effective at dealing with anything but creatures? Not really. So we take that, and let's just say somebody goes, right, it's casual, I've built my casual fun deck, I'm going to go to my local game store and play it. And there's somebody on the opposite side of them who plays, I don't know, let's take, for example, Alex's Teferi, is it Hero of Dominaria?
Yeah.
Hero of Dominaria deck. Now, so let's just say that we have a very limited pool of players who play Brawl. I want to play Liliana. Alex plays Teferi. It's not fun. I don't like it. Fair enough. I'm going to have to wait until rotation, until I can try something new. Let's just say I've looked at everything and I didn't like it. And it's not working, it's not beating you, it's not fun. I have to wait until rotation and new sets come out before I can try it again. It's very,
a bit demoralising.
Yeah, I built this deck. Let's be honest, it's a bit naff. I built it from what I can afford, but there's no real replacement for this. I'll have to hope there's something in the next set.
In that point, it does just become that kitchen top conversation you have with other people saying, this is the power level we want our decks at, this is what we want to be spending on it. And then, again, the format's then evolved into this not-casual format, and now you have to start talking with other people about it. In which case, I don't understand why we're just not playing Commander. That's the big question I always keep asking when I ever come back to an issue with this. And we spent too much time on this one point, so we need to move on.
Well, can I lead this on to our next point then?
Go on.
About it's a very good idea, but who does it apply to? Because you've got standard players. If they wanted to play a single format, they play Commander, because Commander's existed for ages and works. And we have Commander players who, if they want to be restricted to standard cards, will play Standard, because Standard's been around for ages. Is this really a format for anybody?
It's meant to be for new players, I think, but at the same time, they've just brought out the Challenger decks that are meant to be.
Challenge decks were awesome.
They are great. It's a small shout out to how great Challenger decks are. Those are fantastic.
Yeah, as somebody works in the game store, they were the most impressive products Wizards releases besides the Commander Precons every year. I was very impressed.
I don't play Standard, and I was impressed with them.
Yeah, they were very good. But so the new player argument, right? So this new player is being fed a format that Wizards can't exactly create supplemental products for.
No, the supplemental product is standard stuff.
Yeah, it's standard sets. It's booster packs and it's intro decks and such.
Leading on from that, let's address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
The amount of people, the amount of threads, the amount of Facebook posts, the amount of memes that I have seen.
Meme Supreme.
The meme supremes that I have seen that are bashing Wizards for bringing out Brawl because they believe it is just to sell supplementary products of booster packs, of the Challenger decks, Planeswalker decks, because they just want to wring money from small children.
That's a very... Do you agree with that, actually?
No, actually, I just want to point out that I don't agree with that. I don't think Wizards as a company is doing very well at the moment. They don't need to do that. I don't see any point in doing it. I always err on the side of believe them until there's no reason not to. Because honestly, I had fun with it. I thought it was a very good format, and if I was a new player getting into it, it would be a good thing to start me off with it. I think it did what it wanted to do. I don't think that's the reason they made it, especially not considering how open Wizards are with their people. The story that they say of this type of format it's genuinely true, and it's quite endearing.
We were able to see that.
Exactly, it's a very endearing story, and I like that.
If you play Magic, Wizards already have your money. They don't need more of it. They have it.
Exactly. So no, we don't believe that idea for a second. So
I also don't believe it.
Yeah, we'll just nip that in the butt right now, because honestly, we've got way more actual reasons to not like this at the moment.
It's my tinfoil hat's at home.
Exactly.
I've not got on today.
Moving on. Whilst the price is exceptionally cheap for this format, it's not determined by this format. It's determined by Standard. It's very good. And pretty much Standard alone. Not that many things in Standard that I know of that are massively used in Modern.
You've got the big ones like Fail Portrait.
Oh yeah, Fail.
And Damping Sphere is probably going to make some form of impact on Modern sideboards, but
this isn't going out for a few weeks, so we might be wrong. But we'll see.
I've literally just started playing Storm, and I already hate the card.
It's so good.
It's so good.
But we're not here to talk about modern staples and sideboarding. We're here to talk about the fact that it will suck to go, I really need a Scarab God for my deck. I think it will really help push my little deck that I've been playing at home with my mates to really be nice and good, so I can go into my LGS and feel like I can win some games. Oh wait, it's really expensive.
Yeah, fair enough. If we're looking at Dominaria, let's just take Dominaria as an example, because it's very fresh. You are playing Hero of Dominaria, Teferi.
Yeah.
And he's been out for a week. He's literally, we're just going over a week now. He has doubled in price.
Yep, I got mine at $10.
$10 is pretty good for a $4 card.
I thought I was a very good deal for a $4 card, but I didn't expect him to jump that. I don't think anyone did.
No.
And I was very lucky I did.
Lyra Dawnbringer.
Lyra Dawnbringer, ridiculous. But oh, do you want to play these in your Brawl deck? Well, you're going to have to shell out for one card that is more than the other 59 put together for a casual format.
Yeah, so when we look at all the formats, like Commander and let's just say Modern, for Commander, a powerful card is not necessarily an expensive card.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, Bloodghast is infuriatingly annoying and infuriatingly powerful in Dredge decks.
But cheap.
Because, Dredge isn't doing very well at the minute, so it's cheap.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean it's not a good deck, but it's just not doing very well at the moment. So if we look at Standard, the good decks are probably going to transfer into good Brawl decks.
Yeah.
And then the good Brawl decks are going to be not very good Brawl decks who aren't using the brand new best cards. And then we've got a vicious cycle of Standard and Brawl actually just running parallel alongside each other. You're playing Blue-White Control in Standard, well, you're doing well because you made a good deck choice. So now you can just play Blue-White Control and Brawl.
Yeah. So, I'm not really sure how to solve that one. We then go on to, not a massive thing, but just something I'm not entirely sure about why they did this. And this is the illogical ban list.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's the same ban list as Standard, which, I get that, it's very easy to translate. If you can break something in Standard, you can break something in Brawl. There's no point in not having a ban list, because otherwise there's no reason why you wouldn't run any 3-color commander that had blue, red, white, and then just wait and try and find your cat combo with Saheeli Rai. I would. If I wanted to win that format, that's all I would be doing.
Yeah, and then once again you're adding one thing to win into a casual format. Like a Tune of Ether, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Tune of Ether, 1 green mana, go fetch a basic land, get 2 energy.
Lay the land, banned in Standard. What a time. But when we look at that card was good because it was a 4-of in every deck. It was a turn 1 play in every deck, and it was awesome.
Exactly.
Right?
Can you imagine being able to search up for a land for 1 green mana in Brawl? It's break the format, man!
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, Earthworks Marble wasn't... Well, yes, it was a silly card.
Yeah.
But it was busted because you could hit your Oolongs, your Emeralds. Now, what's the scariest thing you could hit with it? Probably something pretty
probably
scary.
someone not even thinking of who don't play Standard.
Yeah, we don't play Standard, but there's probably something pretty scary that you can hit with it. But there's your 1 copy in your deck.
Exactly, there's your 1 copy that if you're in a multiplayer format, you've got 3 other people that are more than happy to deal with that.
And just for the sake of our argument, did Tima ever get some form of energy-related commander? I don't believe so.
Not. We're looking at the top. I don't even think. Oh, is there even a team of legendary?
I don't. They pushed energy quite a bit for standards, and obviously it worked. Don't really see. I can't remember.
No, I don't actually think. Hold on.
I don't think they ever made a legendary for energy, right?
No, I don't think they do. I don't even think there's a team.
I guess you could use Saheeli, but then you cut yourself off the green, which is all the generators, right?
There is literally not even a teamer legendary.
I guess
in
you
Standard.
could play Joda.
The closest thing you could do is play Joda, and at that point, I'm genuinely. I mean, that's the thing. If you play Joda, you would play him. You would play that 1 mana, go search for a thing.
Like, so instead of flipping, let's just say you were playing Energy Joda, you were not playing Energy Joda so you can spin the wheel on your Apeworks model. You can just cast a 5 mana anyway.
Exactly.
I honestly, I know I've been out of Standard for a while, but I can't think off the top of my head of any big bads like Ulamog or Emerald or Kozilek that have existed in Standard for a while. The ban list does make sense, as you said. It translates over nicely, but is it necessary?
No, I think there are certain things that should probably be banned, but it's definitely not anything horrific to worry about. The biggest thing that I think you would get is something like Zakama.
Oh, Elder Dragons.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
The Elder Dinosaurs.
Oh, Elder Dinosaurs, sorry. I'm too busy with EDH here.
The Elder Dinosaurs are pretty good to get with it, or maybe the new 7/7 Flying Trample Haste. I'm going to butcher this name, as we always do. Darigar's Reincarnate.
Mr. Reincarnated, I won't butcher it. But it's the... So if you're messing around, right, with energy and stuff, and you hit your 7/7 Haste, well done. I'm sure your other opponents have done more,
I'm
right?
sure the rest of the table holding up their Vrashka's Contempt is very happy for you. And that beautifully leads me on to completely destroying a point that we both made earlier, is that the format's been solved, and that whilst it is lovely to go through all your old cards and a limited deck that you love playing and can now play in a casual format with your friends again, every single black deck runs Vrashka's Contempt. Every blue deck runs Glimmer of Genius and Essence Scatter. Every black deck once again runs Doomfall Yahine's Expertise. Every blue deck runs Search for Azcanta, Disallow, and Supreme Will. Good standard cards are still good. and it is just the fact that it is 60 cards that you would still have to scrape the wood off the bottom of the barrel if it went to 100 cards. But maybe it still has that little bit too much consistency.
The familiarity
of being able to say familiarity.
Yeah, so the familiarity of it, that's so bad, I can't say that word.
It is a massive problem, the fact that during when we were playing Brawl, it still very much felt like I was playing my old blue-white control deck. It was still me playing Approach with some draw and counter, and that was it.
Good cards are good cards, and they are way too familiar when you see them again and again and again.
Exactly. And it's 60 cards, but that's still just 60 cards.
Yeah, so if we look at Commander and we go, oh, that's a good card. Can you think of a good card off the top of your head? Very good card, maybe.
Avengers Zendikar.
Avengers Zendikar. Cradle Hulk Behemoth. Yes, very good cards. Are they in every green deck ever?
Yes.
Probably. Is it always come down to that card? No. Yes, it does, but
they're quite. Unless you're actively tutoring these cards up, which is fine. I run Worldly Shooters in all my green decks. But at the same time, you have to show it, you have to reveal it, people know it's coming. And even then, there are still other cards that win the game. It's not just routinely this. It's not, oh, are you playing black deck? You are definitely playing this card. If someone sit down at a table with you in a Commander game, unless you're playing at the top tier competitive dual Commander, UK France, I can't sit down and go, right, I've got your entire deck list off the top of my head.
You just can't, right?
No, not with the card pool. In Brawl, if you've been playing the format for a good few months, you can do that for every single deck, at which point, that's just standard light.
Powerful threats need powerful answers.
And it just isn't.
And yeah, so let's have a look, right? Let's say the powerful threat I'm playing against right now is a Planeswalker Nicol Bolas, original Nicol Bolas, or original Ugin. And so in Brawl, if I'm playing against Teferi, I have to go right. I have to hit Vraska's Contempt.
Yep.
Now, in Commander, I have Hero's Downfall. I have Dreadball.
Hero's Downfall,
I have Vraska's
Dreadball, Utter End, Anguish of Making, Vindicate.
There are so many powerful answers that aren't powerful because they get answered, you know.
Exactly. Dice to removal is still a legit line of thought.
It really is. And sadly, in Brawl being limited, the reason why in Standard Approach of the Second Sun can do really well is because there's not particularly good answers for it. And obviously there is. Obviously, you know, it can't be too bad, otherwise it'd be banned. In Commander, your answers are just limitless. You can go. We've just named 7 to a creature or planeswalker
off the top of our heads.
Off the top of our heads without looking into it. In Brawl, you've got 1 or 2. Now, you could argue back and say because there's only 60 cards instead of 100, you're more likely to find them. But they're one-offs.
Exactly.
And technically, if you just say Hero's Downfall, you can run 10 different copies of Hero Downfall just with different names.
Yeah. Poor Brawl. I think I've had a good go in the over.
Nice. Brawl is very hit and miss for me. I think.
Before we go to conclusion, any last words you want to get in?
So the only issue is that I don't think we haven't touched on is it's not just us who feel this way.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel this way. So if in my local game store that I run all the events for, now if I go down with my Brawl deck, other than Alex, I don't know anybody who could play with.
No, I tried to get a lot of other people to come down and test. I tried getting other people to come down. I tried asking people on groups. I tried getting ideas from it. I tried asking people for their ideas in the format. I genuinely couldn't feel any traction. Now, maybe because a lot of people I'm with are avid Commander players or avid Standard players. Yeah. It might be that we see this massive uptick in new players becoming accessible to Standard because of this increased new casual format that lets them get used to the game before coming in and then getting pounded by Golter.
Agreed.
But as I say, at the time of recording, it just does not seem that way.
And another thing I'd like to add as well, we've already hit on Challenge decks and Precon decks. These are some of the the yearly Commander decks are some of the best product the Wizards of the Coast release.
Agreed.
Like, everybody loves them. I love them. They're awesome. You know, I work in a game shop and I find it hard to get copies because they're not popular. They can't really deal with raw product. I don't know what they could release.
No.
Maybe dual decks like Brawl, Brawlmander,
But then you have the problem of
affecting the secondary market, right?
back in the secondary market, as well as the fact that Wizards would then need to try and keep up with
The meta.
the meta.
Yeah, so they can't create new legendaries, because if these new legendaries do well in standard, then the product is impossible to get hold of. Because
Yeah.
you've just introduced cards into standard in the same way they introduce a Planeswalker deck. However, Planeswalker decks are pretty dumbed down, so this doesn't happen.
And if you want to say, oh, we're introducing this new format, this new Planeswalker, this new legendary, but it's just for Brawl, you then immediately destroyed what the format is, and it's now diverged into something that will very quickly wither.
And considering standard is Wizards' favourite format, I doubt they would do anything to even attempt to damage it. I think it's too dangerous.
Not even yes. Especially not one they've just got. Well, I like to think they've just got their group back with Dominaria.
Yeah, Dominaria put everybody back on track. It's only week one,
But
things are looking different.
Yeah, it actually feels like there's some invention, something actually good.
Definitely.
Brawl, on the other hand, well, go on. We'll go to our conclusion time. Overall, I'd say we found Brawl to be a genuinely good idea, which it might generally not have came across with the amount of flack we've just given it, but we genuinely think so.
We did enjoy it. I had a laugh. I tormented and pale-fired somebody for 23 or whatever. That's cool. That's awesome.
Exactly. It was great interactive fun. I got to play a Planeswalker as my general, and it didn't feel scummy.
It did feel scummy. Liliana felt scummy.
I felt great.
Oh, I'm sure you.
But it felt great. Still think it's a great way for new casual players to get into standard, to understand the cards better, and to get to grips with them in a good power level environment without having to shell out for 2 cards, Scarab Gods, and that massive angel.
You get to play Magic and keep your soul at the same time.
Exactly. You don't have to sell a few kidneys. You don't have to.
How many have you got? I've got 2. I've got 1 now. Magic.
You don't have to put down $300 for a deck, as we've already pointed out. It's an accessible format to get people interested in and playing Magic the Gathering, which is all we ever really ask for.
Agreed.
But what needs to happen, I think, is that it needs to be continually sponsored by Wizards, and there needs to be something. There needs to be some little tick, maybe a rules tweak, a rules change, maybe let it go back a bit further, let it not rotate out as quickly. I don't know. Maybe just something.
What do you mean, like, when standard rotation happens, you still have a month given day in your Brawl deck?
Maybe,
like
I don't know. It just feels... The problem with Brawl that I had is that whilst it was fun and great what was happening...
You can't play this deck in a year's time.
You can't play that deck in a year's time. And it didn't feel as rich and flavorful as Commander did, and it didn't give me that speed or energy or consistency that Standard ever did. Which is its own unique experience, but it just was lacking in punch for me. Still fun, but more like the $75 of fun, not the $300 worth of fun.
Yeah.
So, personally, we wish Brawl the absolute best of luck with getting off the ground, but we want to know what you guys think. Feel free to leave a comment below. Do you think Brawl is good? Do you think it will really take off? Or what do you think will be the strongest meta Brawlmander in the coming weeks? Leave a comment, and remember to like and subscribe, and once again, thank you to Sam for coming and joining us.
More than welcome. Thanks for having me. Let me talk for a good hour or so.
We will see you again next time. Goodbye.